So, love that is awareness, love that is characterized by awareness, is the most powerful force in our lives. It is the way that we can live with truth. It's the only way that we can live with clarity. It's how we are able to see reality clearly, and only through that can we live in a way that is loving. Can we live in a way that is free? Knockout, powerful stuff. Really simple, bit tricky to execute on. The reason we struggle with this is because, the primary reason that we struggle with this is because the mind has a tendency to muddle our awareness, to muddy the waters, to cloud our perception. We have a lot of ideas that distort our perception of reality. So where we may otherwise be able to experience the present moment through our senses directly or clearly with an open allowance of flow, a lot of the time we get ideas that inhibit this flow of awareness. And I thought it would be helpful to explore some of the major ideas that tend to get in our way. If we're aware of them, perhaps they'll have a lesser power, a lesser influence. The first one we're going to look at is time. Time is an illusion. There's no such thing as the past or the future. Yes, the past happened. Yes, the future will happen, but they don't exist right now. The only thing that exists right now is our current experience. The idea of the past exists within the mind. That's your memories, your studies of modern and ancient history. These things happened. The dinosaurs existed. The Big Bang was a thing. We're not denying that these things happened, but they have no actual substance in the present moment, in reality now, besides their existence as ideas, as memories. Similarly, the future. That is a projection, a wonderful capacity of the human mind to conceptualize things that have not happened yet. The future isn't real. It hasn't happened yet. The past isn't real. It's dead and gone. But the mind often misses this and mistakes the past and the future for real things, and it gets lost in the past and the future, especially the overactive mind, or the mind that we're not aware of its behaviour of. We can get very easily stuck in stressing over things that have happened, or stressing over things that perhaps will happen. And in doing this, we are removing ourselves from the present moment, what's actually real right now. And this removal is, generally speaking, almost always, a cause for suffering. Obviously, you can plan and you can reflect. Those are real and valid experiences that are very helpful, but only when we are aware that we are planning or reflecting. To be lost, or to reside in the past and the future without realizing that they are things that are actually happening in the present moment, is when we lose ourselves. Another illusion is the illusion of separation. This is a fun one. The idea that we exist in isolation from the things around us. No, we don't. We are intricately connected with everything that we cross paths with. Every moment of every day, everything that we experience is impacting us, and everyone or every object or everything that we interact with, we are becoming a part of them. there's this fluid flow between us and our environment, constant flow of energy and information. And then this whole thing compounds over time when you think of all the things that we have interacted with, all the things that we will interact with. We are a small but integral cog in the works of everything. We're imperatively connected with the world around us. And the idea that we are our own island is deluded and the cause of considerable suffering. Consider the feeling of loneliness, which probably we've all felt before. The idea that we don't have anyone to connect with is painful. It's a very, very painful delusion. The idea of separation also brings the illusion of ego. And ego, which you've probably heard of, it gets a pretty bad rap because of all its nasty consequences. But in itself, ego is functional. Originally speaking, or evolutionarily speaking, ego served a very, very valuable function, that is the preservation of self, and I guess that's the main thing, hey? And it also serves a valuable social function in that we can identify this person from this person. And it comes into planning and also, yeah, look, it has a function, it has value, but it loses its value when we get lost in ego, because even scientifically speaking, ego is an illusion. There is no thing that is the self. It's just an idea. And it knocks us about pretty badly. One way which I enjoy may not be the best word, but I do enjoy this idea of the behaviour of ego, and that's the drama triangle, which is basically whenever we fall into the behaviour of either the hero, the victim, or the persecutor, then we are being dramatic and we are enabling ego. And when you stop to think about it, a lot of our interactions can fall into this drama triangle, and they tend to be unhealthy interactions because ego is an illusion. I had one other thing for ego. Ego also engages in this behavior called attachment, which is basically a tendency to move toward things that feel good and to move away from things that feel bad. But this idea of good and bad are false judgments that we apply to our experience. Nothing has an inherently good or bad value. They're just values that we attribute to them based on the self. What makes us feel good or what makes us feel bad. And this attachment, which often looks like resistance, because life changes. You know, good things come and go, bad things come and go. It's inevitable. Good things, bad things. But our attachment and our resistance is basically the ego saying, no, this thing should actually stay. Or actually that thing needs to stay away. And it's imposing the ego's value on reality when reality does not readily conform to the ego's demands. And this creates tension between ourselves and the world around us, which inevitably leads to suffering, which hurts. Another idea that tends to remove us from reality is, it's actually an idea, or it's a truth that we don't readily accept. So it's more like an idea that we've been avoiding. And that's the reality of impermanence. As I said before, good experiences will go and bad experiences will stay longer than or quicker than we like. Change is inevitable. Everything changes. The seasons change. The nature of your relationships with people in your life will change. And everybody dies. That's a very big reason why the idea of impermanence is such a challenging concept to confront, because it entails death. Death is an inevitable part of life. We lament the idea of death because it means the end of something that we love, something that the ego has grown attached to. But our resistance to this impermanence, our resistance to the inevitability of death, often inhibits our ability to live. If we think we're going to live forever, then we don't live with any fire. We don't live with love. We have a tendency to waste away our time, which is sad. Because life is short and life is beautiful, and we should be living it to its fullest. And in order to do that, we need to embrace the reality that we are going to die. We only have so long. And even less of that time do we have if we're lucky, do we have a body that is able and capable and strong and vibrant. This last illusion is a bit of a trickier one. It's one that I haven't found someone who particularly agrees with me on when I have brought it up in conversation. Bear in mind that I haven't spoken about any of this very much, so when I have brought this one up in conversation, it has been met with considerable resistance because it's a very, very almost offensive idea. And that's the idea that we don't have free will. It's a philosophical concept called determinism. It's the idea that everything we do, all of our behaviour, is actually just the result of the factors that influenced it. Our behaviour is an inevitable outcome. There's no little guy with a steering wheel who's actually like making decisions and choosing what we do. It's just happening. I like this idea because it makes sense to me. I think it feels right. And I also find it somewhat empowering because as someone who is an overthinker and anxiously inclined, it takes a good chunk of the pressure off because whatever happens, happens. And I also like it because it gives this project a little bit of oomph. The idea that our behaviour is an inevitable outcome of our experience means that for me to be talking about love, and for you, if you happen to be there, to be listening about love, means that you are necessarily going to be factoring love into your life. It's just going to happen. I like that idea. I like that love spreads in such a way that it almost can't be stopped. We're going to be fine. Everything's going to be all right. We don't have to be stuck in these cognitive illusions. We can always move toward greater love and greater awareness. But a huge part of that means being aware of our mental behavior and the ideas that are shaping our reality, the ideas that are unintentionally, but nonetheless still happening, removing us from reality. And to see those ideas, to shine a light on them, is to immediately take away some of their power. And in doing that, we are becoming it moves us closer to the truth. We're living with greater love, with greater awareness, and I think that's nice. Ciao.